Guys, what's going on? RJ here with you for another King of Fighters 98 Ultimate Match Online video. And today I am going to bring you 2 months of knowledge that I have been accumulating for Melee Neighborhood. I wasn't sure if the fighters were going to stay the same up during the first season, so I didn't want to do this video on best strategies or like good tips or whatever, because I don't know, I didn't know where it was going to go. But we're here at the end of season 2. I did really good. I'm 4th. I got screwed by Matcha yesterday. I got 2nd place in the round. He got 1st, and so we ended up tied. If I had won, I could have gone 12-0 this season, and 5,000 diamonds would have been mine. But now I'm just waiting and hoping for luck. But I can bring you guys. You know, a lot of information that's been kind of gathered on the Discord and stuff like that. So big shout out to all the Discord people. Thank you for, you know, all the information and answering a bunch of questions. So I know like it's a lot of randomness, but eventually you do start getting these characters. And so the idea is I just want to give you guys the template for some really good teams. And I mean, some of the teams like you know, this specific team here with Robert, Kula, Clark, and Vice, that's a very specific team. And even at the end of the season, I only have Kula and Vice at 2-star, but I'm still using them because this specific team is a kids killer team. And you know, I'm sure you realize at this point how important the kids are in this mode. They're extremely strong, especially on defense, and so I've specially formulated this kids killer team, right? I haven't formulated it, I got it actually off of Matcha, but you know, it was talked about and everything, and it really does, it's a really effective team for basically murdering the kids. So for your offense, you definitely want to try to get a team like this together, not a team like this exact team, with Robert, Kula, Clark, and Vice. And let's just go into an example of, you know, you can tell, like, my defense here, I held everybody off, you know, really well. But with my offense, I full cleared a couple people, you know what I mean? So let's look at this first guy here, because I think it was this match here with the kids killers. And see, this is what they're going to do to somebody else's kids, you know? So I think you can understand why, just after this short demonstration, why it's considered such a kids killer team. You know, because I mean, oh my god, he just killed like half of my Vice or more. And I mean, I think he's probably going to do it again before, you know, the match is over. Like, he's on his own, and you know, you need a team basically designed to kill the kids, because they will stop you pretty hard. So that's a major reason, because I think a theme is everybody keeps putting the kids in that top spot, and we'll get into the defense in a minute. But I just wanted to show that kids killer team, and it performs like that every time. So you basically, you want to save this team for when you encounter the kids. And when you enter a match, I just want to say this first off, when you first go into a match, you know, you go from the bottom node where you have to go to, you hit the middle node, and then you hit the top node. Because as soon as you hit that middle node, you can see the left, the right, and the top, and those are worth 1,000, 800, and 800, you know. So the other ones, the other 4 are only worth 600, but these are worth more. So you want to make sure that you always get the top spot for 1,000, and then the side ones, right? So you charge right in. So even if your first team, you know, takes the first node, you got a second team on the second node, your kids killer team you should be able to find the kids, like, even if they're not in that top spot, and you know, the team is still good to use again, because generally nobody will die, which is the wonderful thing about that this formation. And so moving on, you also want to have your kids team, right? And I have found the most viable thing to do with the kids team is stick them like this. You can put your Rob wherever you want. I just have him behind Bayo. But you get Bayo, Geese, and new Mr. Karate. And new Mr. Karate is going to auto heal at the start of every round. Geese is going to ultimate and heal himself, and Bao is going to heal everybody, but if anybody dies, there's a chance of them reviving, right? So it's very effective within the matches as well. I can't remember at what point I used my kids team. It should be team 1. Yeah, see, I think I used them a couple of times. Yeah, see, team 1, I took out the middle team. I used my kids to take out the trash, right? Because as long as nobody dies, like, it seems like, oh no, Iori and Clark. But the thing is, Iori's just going to hit a tank, and they probably aren't going to die. And when you have the 3 tanks in front, you get a really nice spread of the damage when everybody starts ulting. Like, it's random, right? And even though Mr. Karate's taking a beating, whatever, and it's just Robert on his own, so he can take a Clark ult, But this is right here, there, Mr. Karate healed again. And then it goes on. I'm sure you guys have seen what the kids can do. But the point is that the damage is then spread out so that even if they have a couple of ultimates that are going to go off on their trash teams, it doesn't matter. You're just going to kind of heal through it. And if they have a really, really trash team, because that was like Clark and Iori, but if they have a really trash team, then you're actually going to gain more life than you've lost in the round, and you can actually gain health in between matches. It's not, it's not like club battle where when your teams go forward in rounds, they can't go past their maximum HP from the start of the last round. So, another, if you can't get this 4 together with the kids. Another effective combination is the kids with Geese and Gonitz. You would kind of have Geese up there, and instead of Bao, you would have Gonitz. It's the same type of idea that Gonitz with the late gate, I think he gets like 20% revive rate, so one of your kids could pop back up, or Geese. And then if they have, a lot of people are running 2 and 3 in the front row for the damage spread, but Gonitz counters that, right? And then if you don't have Geese, you can do Bao in the front, because Bao is pretty easy to get. And then you can put Leona in the back there, where Geese is, because she does a really good back row attack. But the heal on her ultimate and her skill is really, really good. To have that double heal, basically. So there's a couple of different formations you can try there with the kids, but this is honestly the most effective one. I tried it out today and it's ridiculous. So you want to have those 2 teams set up like that. The star level doesn't matter that much. It's, the point is you want to have these teams so that they can try to do their jobs. And then moving on, the thing about this mode is that the maximum amount of bear teams you can make is 2. And I mean, that's kind of like including Mary, and I don't think I'm actually missing anybody, and like Benny 2K, Mary, Chin, I think that's it for Bear Souls. So I mean, I have, 3 Bear Souls here with a Tiger, but she's one of the few first turn alts. And then here, I have my second bear team, which is really, really effective. I went this route for myself because Mature in the front will give everybody a lethal, and I throw this on any team that has Iori. And even if it doesn't, Mature plus Iori, and Iori with the lethal buff, and then Gonitz, So I'm just making the best out of the bear team there. So you can try to do a second bear team, but it can be hard because you might lack the characters. So you want your number 1 bear, your kids killing team. And I mean, you could really use Mature instead of Vice in this team, I think, and maybe put Mature up here underneath Robert, and then Kula in the, Kula like that. with Mature, because Robert would buff Mature, and Mature, if she crits, is like a one-shot. But then these guys, if anybody's still above, still high health or whatever, you know, she'll give out that type of that lethal buff to them, so they'll do more damage, right? So that's one idea, is to have a second bear team. But the problem I always find is that there's Ignis, but the only captain is Nameless, and so you want to do a tank team. And so you basically take the best tanks you can. I really like Heineko because of the 2-turn stun, and she does decent damage, and I'm using Billy specifically because he's 7-star. You know, but you use whatever tanks you can. But if you set them up like this, Nameless with his resist rate and then the block rate and everything, it's really effective at taking out enemy tank teams or anything that's really tank heavy that a bear team will probably just be throwing itself up against a wall. So I highly suggest bringing your own tank team to counter their tank teams, and that's if you get Ignis and Nameless. You can try to use Ignis in like a bear formation, kind of like that, you know, but the thing is, it's not that good. His ultimate isn't that great, and getting it off first turn is okay, but you know, it's a lot more effective using Ignis with tanks. And I mean, if you only have Nameless or Ignis, if you only have one or the other, then, you know, honestly, stick another tank in. Nameless plus 3 tanks in front is absolutely ridiculous. It's really, really good. But it's the same can be said even, you know, Ignis and tanks. It should crush a tank team, generally speaking. So, you know, a tank team is also an option. Another option that many people find useful is the all-star formation. I didn't use this formation because I got Heavy D really late, and so I mean, these sorts of things can happen to you. But you can basically use you know, the 3 all-stars, and then you could throw in a bear, you know, something like that, if you wanted to complete the 4 souls. Or, you know, sometimes, you know, you might even want to, you know, do something like that, you know, and throw another tank in front, and then Lucky can sit in the back, and who cares if he gets a couple hits. But the thing is, if you know you're getting the all-stars and you want to make an all-star team, as you get their upgrades, make sure you get their late gates open. Without the late gates open, their synergy doesn't work quite as well. But this team can actually be really, really effective. I know everybody like thinks Lucky really sucks because of peak battle and every other mode in the game, and he does suck. But the thing is, you can make an effective team out of these guys if you're lacking for, you know, say, you know, a second bear team. You know, if you only have 2 bears or something, you might want to slot a bear in instead of this Ryo and run with the all-stars, because it's actually a really good team. And I mean, if you can't, that's 5 teams I've mentioned. You know, the 2 bear, the tank team, the all-star team, and the kids team, and one of the bear teams being the kid killer team. That's like a really, you know, secret recipe team that will absolutely take down the kids. And I mean, early on, you know, actually, I'll just get into the defense here. It doesn't matter about my offense; it's the end of the season. But the defense, you want to try to make as many formations as you can. Like here, I have Katsumi does 4 souls, so I got my bear, adder, tiger, tank, right? All female, so Shermie will buff them. Kula with the resist in front, you know. So I mean, I make that sort of a thing, and then over here I make an all bear team, and I split up my kid killer team because nobody's going to attack the kid killer team. Plus, you don't have priority, so it doesn't matter on defense. But if you throw a bunch of bears together and they don't, and they leave this for last, you can actually stop them really, really badly. If you look at my defense here, I think it was this guy. he threw team 1, 4, he threw all 4 teams against my bottom right. And so, I mean, you know, he didn't have anybody, but my guys will just keep unloading, you know, turn after turn, and there's just like, you know, he's not going to do anything to them because he didn't bring a full team. You know, I think you get how it happens real quickly. So he didn't have a lot of guys, but you know, they found it really hard to get through my defense today, and it's because I have I'm trying to set up specific formations, right? You know, I used an all-star team right here in the middle that they have to fight. You know, they're generally, the all-stars are generally really strong, right? So it's a strong team that they have to fight against. And then I put an all-tank team with Nameless on the 10%, you know, HP and defense node. I mean, that's a really hard thing to have to deal with. You know, and then I do the Bear Genesis on defense because you can have Mary, Ignis. You know, they're not going to get through a Mary, Ignis, Bear Genesis to get to the Clark, so the Clark's definitely going to go off on them. You know, and then I threw my kids over here as a surprise, and like nobody really even wants to deal with that. You know what I mean? Offense, defense, that's just an overall effective team. So, you know, I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like, you know, Bear team, tank team. They're all formations, you know, even this one's an all-star. This one, you want to get May use her late gate because she's actually the only damage reducer in the entire mode with her late gate for the percentage-based damage. It makes her okay, you know, so you can throw her in here like this, and you know, it can make a surprising match where their team isn't doing half as much damage as they thought it would, you know what I mean? So definitely spend time setting up your defense the best you can with these types of teams, and make as many formations as you can, because you have to realize you're never going to have priority on defense, obviously, and so if you can make things a little more defensive minded while still having damage, you know, kind of like a Bear Genesis team, I find it really effective on defense. The all-tank team with Nameless, it's just really strong because after a few upgrades, these guys, you know, they get so much health and defense. You know, it's hard to break through the lines, and you obviously have a whole lot more fighters on your defense and offense, so it makes it really hard for them to, you know, kill all of these fighters just because they have priority. So, you know, overusing tanks and stacking up the front lines and stuff like that to make sure that your back row gets a good ultimate off to weaken their team, you know. So those are my team suggestions, and a bit of strategy about the teams and everything like that. Do your best to make sure that when you're attacking, see, like, look at what this guy did. This is the absolute wrong way to attack. You don't want to start clearing out these sides until you make sure you have your top node. You know, these guys did it right. Like this guy, he did it right. He didn't clear me, but he did it right because he went for the top and then the sides. I don't know why this guy would go for a side node over here, but he did go right for the top, but he should have been going for the sides up here for 800 points. You know, I mean, and that's what I do. I go straight into the top center here, then you take the side nodes out, and then you have to clean up the bottom two. And if you can't get the bottom two, make sure you get the top ones because they're worth the most, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's actually won me entire rounds, because my entire group would attack like this one guy, and they'd only get 3,100 points, whereas I would be doing this sort of a thing that the guy in the middle did, and I would be getting 3,700 points. You know what I mean? Because it's the exact same amount of nodes taken. He took 5, he took 5, but it's a 600 point difference. And so, I mean, that will win you a round if you multiply out 600 times 3 on 3 different attacks. You know, it's an extra 1,800 points. And I mean, people are winning with a difference of, you know, 600-700 points. So, I mean, just that little bit of advice right there, definitely go right to the end and then do the sides first, because even if you don't full clear, there's going to be people attacking like this. So, but that's about it for advice I can offer for this mode, because the rest of it, all the battle soul enhance, it all comes down to RNG. You know, it's a true gacha mode, but at least it's not, the whales don't have an advantage, you know, but it's true gacha, so I can't even say you know, advice on what to upgrade first or whatever. You know, you usually want to go with late gates and attack enhancements, generally speaking. But if you're not sure, you know, definitely look at the characters ahead of time, or you know, find a website like KOF98.com, pull it up and check out what the lake and thunder gates are to see if they'd be useful to you, because some of them are completely useless. So you should brush up on what the characters do and stuff like that. But as for teams, that's the best advice I can give. You know, that sort of a thing. And past that, it's all luck. So I wish you all luck next season, and hopefully, you know, in a couple hours. Oh god, I dropped a 5th match I played. Yeah, you see what I mean about the points? He's only beating me by so many points. But hopefully one of these 4 guys did not get first in their group, because coins are what matter. So I mean, Guru is attainable even without placing first all the time, but you gotta place first like probably a good 9 out of the 12 days, and then place second the rest of the time, maybe a third in there, I don't know. But good luck guys, because the rewards are actually worth it. You know, it is attainable. I'm definitely getting 1500 diamonds tonight, so every month, yeah, I think I'll play this mode, because that's a good amount of diamonds. Even just making it into Guru, I don't think there's that many people. You know, most people are probably going to end up with 1000 diamonds or 800 diamonds that have made it into Guru tonight, you know, so. But it's a bare minimum of 500, so not bad, you know. But good luck with the polls, and I hope you guys can make some killer teams next month. So I'll see you in the next one. Peace.